Hello dear students, very good morning. We are learning the chapter metals and non-metals. In the previous class, we have learned how metals react with the non-metals to form salt, right? And also we know that how ions will be formed, like cations and anions, how they will form like in the metals and non-metals. In today's class, we are going to study about properties of ionic compounds. Firstly, we learn about the general properties for ionic compounds. Okay, first is physical nature. So, ionic compounds are usually solids in nature and they are somewhat hard because of the strong force of attraction between positive and negative ions. So, as we already learned, it is ionic compounds, right? Positive and negative charges will be present. So, they are strong and hard because there is a strong force of attraction between positive and negative ions. So these compounds are generally brittle, and so we can break it into pieces when pressure is applied. If you apply more pressure, it will be broken. This is first property. The next property is melting point and boiling points. Melting and boiling points. Ionic compounds are having high melting and boiling points. So because this is because a considerable amount of energy is required to break the strong inter-ionic attraction. As we already learned in the first property, they have a strong force of attraction between these two positive and negative ions. We need a more amount of energy to break these strong inter-ionic attractions. This is second one. Third one is solubility. So electrovalent compounds or ionic compounds are generally soluble in water. They're usually soluble in water, but they're insoluble. They're insoluble. Just wait. Yes. Okay, insoluble in solvents such as kerosene, petrol, etc. ಸೊ ಇದು ಬರೀ ವಾಟರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತ್ರ ಡಿಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಪೆಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಕೆರೋಸಿನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಒನ್. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಥರ್ಡ್ ಒನ್ ಈಸ್ ದಿ ಕಂಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಸಿಟಿ. So the ionic compounds conduct electricity. The conduction of electricity through a solution, okay, through a solution involves the movement of charged particles. Okay, there is one experiment related to it. We'll study it later. The conduction of electricity through a solution. Okay, electricity ಯಾವಾಗ ಕಂಡಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಆ solution when it is in the ಸಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆರ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಮಾಲ್ಟನ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್. ಓಕೆ, ಮಾಲ್ಟನ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಅಥವಾ ಸಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಮಾತ್ರ ಅದು ಸೊ ಅಯಾನ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಡಿವೈಡ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಇಫ್ ದಿ ಅಯಾನ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ರಿಲೀಸ್, ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಈಸಿ ಟು ಮೂವ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಸಲ್ಯೂಷನ್. ಎ ಸಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಎನ್ ಅಯಾನಿಕ್ ಕಾಂಪೌಂಡ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ದ ವಾಟರ್ contains ions which moves to the opposite electrodes. So opposite electrodes when the electricity is passed through the solution. Ionic compounds in the solid state do not conduct electricity. ಯಾಕೆ ಸಾಲಿಡ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಸಿಟಿ ಕಂಡಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ದರ್ ಇಸ್ ನೋ ಮೂವ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಯಾನ್ಸ್ ಟೇಕಿಂಗ್ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್. In solid state do not conduct electricity because movement of ions in the solid state is not possible due to their rigid structure. ಸೊ ಸಾಲಿಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ ತುಂಬಾ ರಿಜಿಡ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಅಯಾನ್ಸ್ ಮೂವ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಬಟ್ ಅಯಾನಿಕ್ ಕಾಂಪೌಂಡ್ಸ್ ಕಂಡಕ್ಟ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಸಿಟಿ ಇನ್ ದ molten state or in the solution state. So this is possible in the molten state since the electrostatic force of attraction between these oppositely charged ions ಏನಿದ್ರೆ it will overcome due to the heat. Okay, heat ಇಂದ overcome ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. Thus the ions move freely and conduct electricity. So these are the properties of ionic compounds. This is very very important for your exams. There is one activity related to conduction of electricity. Ionic compounds conduct electricity. See your students, here we have a beaker and it is filled with a salt solution. Like you can take sodium chloride and you have to make it into solution. Okay, and also we have graphite rods and we have to connect wires, battery, bulb, switch, everything according to the figure. Okay, when you switch on, so the bulb will glow. Okay, why the bulb will glow? You know that the electricity, when the electricity passes, the ions present in the solution will start to break. Okay, so we have provided energy and it will break. So like positive charges and negative charges, cations and anions will be separated, and these ions will go and bind to the respective electrodes. So cations will go and bind to one place, and anions will go and bind to another electrode, and that conducts electricity. So this shows that salt solution conduct electricity. So student, this is about the properties of ionic compounds.